This video is intended to be an in-depth description of a light blade talisman named Expansion. I will start with the main blade banding, which consists of spectrolite, which is technically labradorite from Finland, but it has the name spectrolite, or that is its trade name, based on the fact that it has a slightly wider variation to the color, which enhances more of the spectrum of the color that emanates through it. So as you can see in the refraction of the light that this is indeed labradorite, just a much wider variety. Which in terms to vibratory alteration compared to normal labradorite, such as right here, is it has a slightly wider spectrum, which is more of a full light body generation of the white spectrum, in diffusing the current of the energy throughout the entire light body in a more even full spectrum emanation. Hence also I'll be utilizing this cruise chakra map to be employed to be a visual guide of stimulation points this device will be anchoring. Spectrolite, is exactly like labradorite with a slightly wider spectrum like I mentioned, but labradorite of course is stone that is very, very mysterious and quite potent in its vast scope and scale of effect on reality. Labradorite, in more simplistic terms, also is a very powerful stone for any kind of psychic endeavors, enhancing the clairvoyant aspects as well as piercing through the veil of waking reality and maintaining multidimensional consciousness in all aspects and endeavors the wielder of this device will be in practice of. So, other terms too of labradorite is it's very useful for insulating the entire auric field and making a very powerful psychic force field, so to speak, through the entire auric matrix to insulate from any intrusive energies, as well as ensure the proper elemental balance of earth, fire, water, and wind are ensured through that magical focus. So it's almost like discussing the vastness of the ocean is the vastness of the properties of labradorite, quite a mysterious, potent stone of the unseen realm. And to subcapacitate the spectrolite labradorite right here is black tourmalated quartz, which is mostly clear quartz with black tourmaline bolts going through it. So as the energy runs through the main blade band, it makes a very powerful purification of energy through the black tourmaline, which grounds all excess energy through the base into the earth stars, into the earth meridian matrix for reprocessing, while the quartz also works as a neutral energy that runs the current so it has no drag, just purification. So the ignition sequence like so of spectrolite and black tourmaline quartz into spectrolite will basically purify and further enhance the psychic insulation of this main blade's vibratory output. Then grounded straight into this first lateral band is the transmutation blade band sequence, which consists of hematite and smoky quartz in ignition sequence, which makes a very powerful grounding of energy through the base, through the hematite, and the smoke quartz further processing and purifying and dispersing negativity and grounding it once again into the earth meridian matrix for reprocessing. So you can think of it as etheric Teflon, if you would, to further enhance that grounding effect so nothing of lower density frequencies can actually stick to the emanation of this field when it's in play. And continuing the transmutation blade band like so, going up here like this, up to the sides, then this lateral band closing the circuit once again, then down here to complete that circuit. So the entire transmutation ratio runs the entire frequency through here on these guys as it grounds and purifies it before it gets to the apex band up here, which consists of quartzite, which is actually a white calcite and quartz combined, which means it has its neutral programmability as well as the clearing capacity of the white spectrum of calcite, which of course, since it's white ray in tandem with the spectrolite, makes a very powerful clearing emanation of the 7 rays. With rose quartz right here next to it, which of course is a high heart activation stone of the pink ray of predominantly used for emanation connection to divine love. Then once again quartzite into tanzanite. Tanzanite is a very effective 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th chakra activation stimulator, which basically elliptically connects the heart-mind coherence to one of the most impeccable fashions in the mineral kingdom. Quartzite once again, then auralite 23. Auralite 23 is just like Super 7, represented here, except it has 23 different minerals in the amethyst structure, which is pretty advanced. So you have amethyst, smoky quartz, gold, silver, copper, platinum, you name it, 23 different elements are in one crystal structure. So that's pretty amazing, also known as the Stone of Miracles, and very powerful for the magic presence of the higher self-awakening, which obviously the name of this device, named Expansion, is designed to be a very expansive vibratory field to be in a wearable format. So once again, many of these components of the crystalline ignition order honor the archetypal name of Expansion. So all these frequencies grounded to one primary wire has a singleized archetypal focus for expansion. That would be the blade bands. So this is where the necklace will also hook into right here. Now I'll continue back over here on this main blade face. At the very bottom right here is, can't really see it from this angle, the orange stone in there is Sunstone, which is the masculine feldspar cousin to labradorite proper, which is also a stone that dramatically enhances the masculine potencies of the auric field of projection. So that's a strong stimulation to the sacrum and base, and very much a stone of the beneficent masculine archetype. In tandem with that right here is Rainbow Moonstone. Another cousin to labradorite on the feldspar family is a feminine polarity version of this frequency. So you can think of this trinity as cousins of sunstone, moonstone, and labradorite, being a perfected balance of masculine, feminine, and the shadow archetype, making the triad of that perfected frequency field, which is very kundalini enhancing in its own right, as well as light body enhancing. Much like labradorite, Rainbow Moonstone has a very strong effect for the entire white ray diffusion of all the chakras activated in unison. And of course, the stone of feminine protection and the aspect of imbuing rainbow light so that no negativity can really stick to the auric field when it's in play. Hence, all these different frequencies are in one closed loop energy circuit in a very reactive format to the wielder's needs for any given moment based on their higher self-directive. Right here is fulgurite. Fulgurite is petrified lightning, which is the power of lightning caught in sand, used since time immemorial by shamans of all stripes and all variations across the different continents to be a dramatic intensifier of prayer. So naturally, fulgurite makes a very strong stimulation of the entire chakra column with the power of lightning, basically, to really intensify that higher light body energy, as well as focus the intention or prayers to intensify the prayers to the divine. And back to labradorite for a moment, speaking of that subject as well, is that labradorite is very powerful for also increasing the impulses of magic of all varieties, of receptive, projective, magic in all aspects. So one's intention is dramatically intensified through magic, so to speak, through this frequency that will really pierce through the veil to be utilizing energy to shift and mold the etheric weave of atomical reality of 3D density. So in tandem with those two by themselves will be quite potent, but there is more that actually enhances the intention spectrum. Starting off with Libyan gold tektite. This is a very prominent, powerful stone, lesser known cousin to moldavite, based on its vibratory output scale. Sometimes they're referred to as goldavite. Libyan gold tektite has a very powerful stimulation to the sacrum and solar plexus predominantly based on its golden ray resonance, and was utilized by pharaohs of old in their ancient breastplates to be the powerful central stone carved into a scarab beetle to power their entire breastplates they would wear in ancient Egypt. That's a very fun fact about this stone. And this stone has a very powerful intention manifestation as well as psychic protection too, by having such a strengthened solar plexus chakra that other energies in the outside radius of the auric field have a much more difficult time shifting the will focus center of the wielder of this device. So that would be a fire elemental stone with storm overtones, which of course stimulates the entire chakra field as well as activates any kind of weak and lazy chakras to be in perfect spectrum balance of intensified output towards one's blueprint's manifestation of why they've chosen to incarnate. It's pretty dramatically powerful stuff. In tandem with the legendary moldavite, moldavite has a very powerful green ray cosmic tone stone, known as stone of the Holy Grail, and should not be much introduction in this video. It's became quite famous these days, or even infamous, based on its resonance to change one's life, to its dharmic output by flushing all toxicities and any kind of discoherent energies out of the system to align one's true heart to their dharmic path. The reason Moldavite's gained a little bit of infamy this day and age is that it can produce rather chaotic results when it's not tempered and grounded and stabilized. Hence, the utilization of this Moldavite here in such a complex subroutine is intentionally to mitigate any kind of chaotic overtures that may occur in one's reality when one's life dramatically alters into their dharmic self. It can manifest as chaotic or even disharmonious situations to get one's auric template into their source configuration of their highest blueprint. So very much the false self killer in a lot of ways. So the big idea of that too is that with this being contained in a very complex subroutine, like I mentioned, is to get the most out of that cosmic impact while mitigating any kind of undesirable results of chaotic manifestations from such massive energy shifts in the field to be smoother and more beneficent towards the wielder of this device. But yet, still very prominent, powerful device that is a main cornerstone of this vibratory output of expansion. And the other side of the blade face, right here, is Super 7. Super 7 is a special variety of amethyst that is a bit rarer than normal amethyst, and is a combination of amethyst itself, a stone called cacoxenite, if I pronounced that correctly, probably butchered that, gosite, leprocrosite, rutile, smoky quartz, and quartz in one matrix, also known as the melody stone. So it's a very powerful variant of amethyst. And above that right here is aquamarine. Aquamarine is a beryl family stone related to emerald that is, of course, a harder hardness than most stones, of usually 8.5 to 9 on the hardness scale out of 10, and is a cardinal water stone, and a very prominent stone for activating the 4th and 5th chakra, particularly in speech patterns of speaking from one's heart and one's truth in a very cohesive, impeccable manner, and very smooth for that aspect. So aquamarine being utilized here is also to highly intensify the focus of the speaking of the truth of the wielder of this device, of the expansive insights they have to share. And this guy right here, bordering into the engine section, which will actually be covered by the hood quite a bit, which will be white leather, is seraphinite. Seraphinite is named after the seraphim archangels and is a very powerful full light body imbuement for the entire chakra column from top to bottom, and vice versa, and imbues the seraphic energies throughout the entire matrix, which means in simple terms that the cellular respiration this produces also disbands and dislodges any kind of forms of energetic dis-ease that would be stuck in the auric field, and is a very powerful fertilizer to discharge these dis-ease frequencies throughout the entire field and be able to adhere to healthier, established, perfected light body patterns. And it's very powerful for stimulating the entire chakra column cord. So it's also a stone that can be produced in a Kundalini session that actually would be a very powerful sensation from the base going through the entire light body spectrum. This section right here will have white leather over it, so there'll be quite a bit to cover under this section. But starting right here is turquoise. Turquoise stimulates the 5th chakra from the full spectrum of earth, fire, water, and wind to be a stone of wholeness. Hence, it's been utilized by First Nation tribes for time millennia as a stone of heaven in a certain aspect, as well as being a stone of wholeness and a great grandfather ally to speak one's truth and be in one's truth. And also in more like practical resonance terms for this device, also a very powerful pranic generator that stimulates the entire pathways, open subtle meridians to have the wholeness spectrum. This right here is blue lace agate, which is an agate. All agates and jaspers utilized in this device make the most stabilized variation of the stimulation of the chakra field and the auric field right there. So blue lace agate is a water elemental stone that stabilizes the 5th chakra. Red jasper right here stabilizes the base chakra, hence it's an earth stone. I'll just probably get into the agates first to keep the same kind of trend of thought. Fire agate stabilizes the base, sacrum, and solar plexus through the fire element. Moss green agate right here stabilizes the fourth and base and is very powerful for the etheric blueprint of one's highest nature to manifest strongly in the alignment of the heart to, of course, hence blood circulates through the heart to have that cellular respiration of the new energy pattern of one's true etheric blueprint manifest smoothly and with stability. Hence, the utilization of these different agate and jasper spectrums is to stabilize the entire frequency running through the circuitry so that it's for more low and slow, long-term stable gains. Fire agate is also a stone of the zest for life, if you would, since it stabilizes the base, sacrum, and solar plexus, makes a lovely fire elemental induction of the in-the-body experience, quite simply. And this right here is jet. Jet is a black-gray carbon-based stone utilized in times of antiquity, particularly by druidic traditions, to be a very powerful stone of purification. And it's kind of like energetic charcoal, once again, purifies the entire energy field and grounds all excess energy into earth for reprocessing. It's particularly notably utilized for neutralization of any kind of black magic from ancient times. This was one of the more ancient metaphysical practices of this stone being utilized in Druidic traditions, was the neutralization of any kind of negative vibes. Once there's a lot of that different frequencies in here that will do that by osmosis to honor the expansive nature and keep the insulation of the wielder protected. And this right here is ruby and zoisite. Ruby and zoisite is a lovely synergistic combination of, once again, ruby, a dominant red ray stone in the mineral kingdom, quite famous or even just very well utilized since times of antiquity, to be a very prominent red ray stone to really activate the base chakra very intensely, in combination with zoisite, which is a green ray cousin to tanzanite, has a very powerful heart-mind coherence stimulation. So when you have the combination of the red ray force of ruby being a very active and grounded, excited, kind of enthusiastic energy in tandem with the heart-mind coherence, it makes very dramatic shifts towards one's true self manifesting in the earth plane with enthusiasm, with gusto, which is very nice in the path of spirituality, in my humble opinion. And this right here is scoisite. Scoisite is a lovely white ray stone of divinity that has a 6th, 7th, and 8th and above stimulation to keep one's mind in the higher self-witness perspective, as well as in more practical physical terms, a very nice serotonin balancer of the mind. And so it keeps one's inner peace of their divine connection and seeing things from a higher perspective in tandem with the expansive concept to be ensured to have the inner oasis of calm. And speaking of oasis of calm, this right here is Larimar. Larimar is a lovely stone from the Dominican Republic that is of fire and water elements. It is a very powerful oasis of calm stone as well. Its primary stimulation is the 5th chakra to stabilize and intensify one's projective voice and to have the inner goddess energy highly emphasized. Stone of Atlantis, Dolphin Stone, has many different names in its relatively short discovery since 1982, I believe. It's gained quite a bit of famous utilization in metaphysical communities based on its lovely blue ray soothing frequency. And also it is quite beautiful, even though it will be covered by a hood. Anyhow, this right here is black tektite. Much like moldavite and Libyan gold tektite, this is the product of a nickel meteorite impacting sand to carry that cosmic extraterrestrial jolt into the 3D realm. So this is basically an obsidian, but it has extraterrestrial imprintations catching the cosmic jolt, much like fulgurite as well, to carry that explosive extraterrestrial entrance into this world. And since it's a black ray stone, it makes a very lovely stimulation from the Earth stars all the way through the soul stars, the entire chakra column, from black ray ground up perspective, to stimulate the entire auric field and have a more densified light body experience, as well as keep throwing off any kind of densities that would be compromising the auric field, and is a very powerful light body activator. And what's nice about the black ray aspect is that the induction of that stimulation is, once again, from the earth up. And somewhere around here, okay, that right there is shungite. Shungite, just like jet, is a black ray carbon-based purification stone, which of course is like a charcoal filter, purifies the entire auric field, and mostly grounds all the excess radial energy into the Earth meridian matrix for reprocessing, which is very essential. And it's the most famous stone in this timeline, particularly for mitigation of EMF waves and that can harm our subtle DNA. So having that in tandem with the jet is a lovely black ray carbon-based filtration system as part of the subroutine that runs through this whole closed loop frequency. And the main engine right here is golden healer quartz. This is a predominantly powerful gold white light Christ frequency stone from Arkansas that has a very nice high heart gold white light stimulation to the heart, which is the connection to the source of creation, which is why it is actually the main engine, so to speak, as all these different energies run right through. They run right through here, this guy, but it all is one closed loop circuit consisting of brass, copper, and silver spooled together to be the one primary wire, so that all the energy that courses through has a nice even diffusion of the earth with the copper frequency bandwidth, the receptive silver, and the brass being a zinc copper alloy makes a very powerful projective aspect. So when you have the trinity of those three on a circuit, it's a very even diffused current as it vibrates and runs its frequency through the auric field. And the main core itself is oak from my lovely backyard. And next to that oak core is selenite. I saved this one for last because its usage and dominance in this crystalline structure is very, actually rather important into the vibratory output of this device. Selenite by itself is known to, of course, clear the 6th, 7th, and all the way the subtle chakras to the higher self perspective, as well as clear any kind of densities through the field. But the key application of selenite in this device is to take the entire frequency running through it, amplify, harmonize, and purify the entire vibratory output of this device to make it a very prominent, clearing, stabilized frequency to be wielded on a person in any situation. And next to the selenite is black, green, orange, and blue kyanite. The four spectrums of kyanite make very rapid transfers of energy throughout the entire auric field. Black kyanite predominantly grounding rapid frequency energies into the earth, and it's also the application of the kyanite in this is key because it makes it very energy reactive based on the higher self template of the wielder for any given situation they find themselves in to make proper diffusions of energy. You can kind of think Aaron's breastplate, the Ark of the Covenant. These different frequencies all work as powerful deflectors in certain aspects of external intrusive energies, and the kyanites make very rapid transfer energy, so you can think of it once again as more etheric Teflon, so nothing can actually even stick to the field domestically or even interdimensionally, so to speak. That's not in alignment with one's higher self template. And so the green kyanite makes a very strong focus of the heart chakra for the receptive and projective balance to be able to receive energy very quickly from higher realms, as well as in a more domestic aspect too, for diplomacy aspects of speaking to somebody. It makes energy transfers very resonant and very quickly. So when the four spectrums kind of are combined, it makes the quick transfers to anybody speaking to the wielder of this device to be able to find a very common, easy resonance so that connections can be made much easier without too much disparate energies into wavelengths to actually make a proper conversation connection, even energetically speaking. So orange kyanite also has a very strong stimulation to the sacrum. Blue kyanite has a strong stimulation to the third eyes or prefrontal lobes of the right and left hemispheres in tandem, and also makes very powerful neural pathway links to one's awakened third eye, and also is very powerful for bridging pathways to telepathy, things of nature, as well as other different paranormal cities or psychic powers, if you would. So like I digressed and ramble on a little bit sometimes, the four spectrums of kyanite are very useful in this circuit to make very rapid transfer energies for finding common ground with speaking to people, by ensuring the pathways of the energies have a nice way to run a current through the entire system, as well as keeping the connection points to one's higher spiritual sponsorship, so to speak, to have a strong contact patch to rapidly transfer energy through the person as they walk in the dharmic path into the Earth Meridian Matrix once again. And that is basically the concept of utilization of 4 kyanites, which is quite expansive and can be intuited much upon further. And I believe that is the entire crystalline matrix described in detail. So in conclusion, the concept of expansion is designed to be a very expansive energy field to one's consciousness, to a higher awareness of their dharmic template, as well as to be able to expand that energy into those they serve by holding this frequency much easier, as well as being electromagnetic interference inhibitors so that any kind of intrusive energies do not obscure or cloud the expansive concept of one's higher self-consciousness, is the intended design of such an expansive device. And that's the conclusion. Well, anybody watching this video, I wish you 1,000 blessings and have a good day.